The problem with most cameras nowadays is the box does not come sealed. This is a Sony ZV-E10 that I bought online, and when I got the box, it was not sealed. How do I find out if this was not returned or used by someone else? Let's find out. So cameras these days, they do not come in a sealed box, and that's probably because manufacturers know there are a lot of returns. As a customer, we would like to know if this was a returned product or was used, right? So I'm going to show you in a few simple steps. It would take probably 5 minutes to find out if your camera that you received was used. So first things first, we look for the very obvious signs, and you can take a look at the packaging to see if there was any damage to the packaging. So in my case, there was this little ding on the side of the package, and when I opened the package, everything was in place, but the packaging itself was not rigid. It felt like this has been opened and closed so many times before. I'm starting to be picky, but that's what happens when you buy a brand new camera. So the next thing you look for is things that came with the camera in the package. This, for example, has some dust particles in it. Well, I'm not quite ruling this as used yet. And then there was this piece that also had some dust in it. So obviously this has been opened before. So far, I don't care as long as it wasn't used. Now the big one, how to find out if the camera was used. I'm holding a Canon here, and that's the Sony ZV-10 because I'm filming with the Sony ZV-10. I cannot show that in the box now, but regardless of the camera type, it is very simple to find out if a camera was used. The trick here is to find the shutter count of your camera. So how many times has the shutter been opened and closed? And that'll tell you if it was used or not. So what I did with my Sony ZV-10 is, as soon as I got the camera, I did not even remove the lens cap. You go into the settings and you should select the option release without lens. In many cameras, it will not allow you to release the shutter unless you explicitly select that option to release the shutter without the lens. And I did not have a lens when I first purchased the Sony ZV-10, so I had to quickly check if it was used and the shutter count. So what I did was I enabled that option in the settings, release without lens. That released the shutter without the lens being attached to the camera. And all I did is I turned the camera on and clicked one shot. That's it. And the photo that you just took, I don't care if it's blank or if it's dark, but we're gonna use the SD card. By the way, you would need to put in an SD card because that's where your photos will be stored initially. So once you put the SD card in, click a shot and take the SD card out of the camera and put it into the computer. And we're gonna check that photo that we just took and see how many shutter counts has this camera been up to. Before we jump into finding out the shutter count of our camera, I want to quickly go over what is shutter count. Shutter count or shutter actuation number is the number of times the camera's mechanical shutter has been fired. Why is this important? Because cameras have shutter rating. So every camera has an expected average number of shutter actuations it is likely to deliver before the shutter fails. So we want to make sure that the camera that we received as new should have a shutter count of close to 0. And if you bought a used camera, you will be able to find out how much your camera has been used. How to check the number of shutter actuations? For Sony and Nikon, there are a couple of websites, and it is camerashuttercount.com or shuttertool.com. For Canon, there is a program called EOS Info. It is a Windows program. You will be able to download it and find the shutter count. I'm by no way affiliated to these websites, and these are third-party websites. I'm on camerashuttercount.com. Let's choose our file
I've taken a few pictures using this camera, but DSC0001 was the first picture I ever took with this camera. So let's upload the DSC001 file. I click the upload button and it shows that the shutter count was 0, and this is the ZV-E10, which is my Sony ZV-E10. This gave me peace of mind that the camera that I purchased as new had a shutter count of 0. I also tried uploading the same picture to shuttertool.com, but it said the camera is not supported yet. See the supported model. So this is a relatively new camera, and I did not think that they added this camera to the compatible list yet. So for my use case, I used camerashuttercount.com and the shutter count was 0. So this time let's upload the third picture that I took. And let's upload this one. And now it shows a shutter count of 4. I expected the shutter count to be 3, but for some reason it is 4, probably because I deleted one of the images.
So friends, that's how you find out if your camera was used or not. And if you like this video, I'm sure you would love the unboxing of my Sony ZV-E10, which I believe is the best YouTube camera. So unboxing of this when ready, the link will be up here. Thank you so much, and if you have any comments or more questions, I reply to every single comment. Thank you for watching. Take care.